my guests for tonight, right next to me is Dr. Dr. Ude is across from me, Dr. Ude Kumar, who is an optometrist. An optometrist does everything to do with the eyes except surgery, right? You're going to shed more light on that. And then we have Brian Makumbi, who is here to share his story. And Brian, I think we're going to start with you right after Dr. Ude explains what an optometrist does exactly.
Okay. So an optometrist is, optometry is a profession wherein we call it as a primary eye care profession, wherein we deal with disease diagnosis, management, including visual rehabilitation, basically these are the main things except surgery. So we diagnose the disease and we treat to an extent, unless it requires some complex medications, wherein we have to refer to the specialist ophthalmologist for further treatment and surgeries.
All right. So Brian, you're the reason we're here today. I read about your story in the Daily Monitor, and I thought I wanted to know what exactly happened to you. How did it start? I know it started 12 years ago, the first time you thought, okay, there's a problem, but take us right there and start us off.
Okay, thank you so much, Josephine. My name is Brian Makumbi. I understand most of you read my story in the Daily Monitor. It was 11th March this year. This whole mess started in 2002. By then I was 12 years old. It started by seeing blurring vision and rainbows around light. I did take it serious as a young kid. I remember it happened for like 30 minutes, then it disappeared. It was Christmas.
So you saw blood vision, and then you saw rainbows?
Yeah, foggy vision for around 30 minutes.
Okay.
Then it disappeared. Then the rainbows around light, like for instance, when I'm looking at a bulb. Then in 2003, it increased to around 2. For 2002, it happened once. It was in December. Then 2003, it increased to 2 times. Then 2004, it increased to around 4 times, 4 to 5. Then in 2005, I was in class. By then I was in senior 2. I was attending class. Then I experienced heavy foggy vision. Then it made me uncomfortable. I called one of my colleagues and requested him to actually escort me to hospital, which he did. We first requested for a pass out to go to hospital.
This was the first time you were actually going to hospital?
Yeah.
So in 2002, you did nothing?
I did nothing. As a young kid, you can't even report that to a parent. Even 2003. But I reported that in 2004 because it happened like 4 times. I reported that to my mother. Then in 2005, after getting a pass out, we went to hospital. That was Mobende Referral Hospital. We reached there, we found there so many people. My turn came. They did a thorough checkup, and later they told me, Brian, you know what? You have glaucoma. I didn't give a damn. I didn't mind. I was like, okay, fine. They asked, are your parents around here? I said, yes. They called them. I remember my mother came. When she came, she was told that your son has a disease called glaucoma. Then later she was told, we are going to do a surgery on both eyes, the left eye and the right eye. Then my mother then thought that it was serious. Then that same day, I remember it was around 4 p.m. The only thing I remember was I was taken into the theater and only seeing my mother cry. That's what I can remember. I felt sorry for her. Then I spent like 2 days in hospital. Then we were discharged after the 2 days. They prescribed for me certain eye drops, anti-glaucoma eye drops. I remember Timol and some other pills, which I'm still using up to now because I'm on medication until 2000. Actually, from 2005 till now, I've been on medication. But right now, there are two challenges I'm facing. One is to keep that pressure normal, because you have to keep it normal,
Which pressure exactly are we talking about?
the intraocular pressure.
Okay, you're
Yes.
taking us to the medical side of it. Before we come to that, so
Alright.
you did a surgery.
Okay.
After the surgery, you were sent home.
Yeah, the aim of that surgery was to reduce that IOP and to maintain my sight. But surprisingly, it is degenerating. It is deteriorating every other day.
What do you see now? So if you looked around the room, what are you able to see?
Like foggy vision. Foggy vision. But for this other eye, the left eye, I can't see anything apart from light progression. Then the right eye, I can see some few people. I can move by my own, like in the room here. But the visual field is still very low. It is still very low. Yes,
Okay.
please.
I think I'm going to ask Dr. Ude this one. What would normally cause someone to get glaucoma?
Yeah, so glaucoma is actually a disease of the optic nerve. Optic nerve is the part of the eye which makes whatever the eye sees, which will relay the information to the brain, and then makes us to see the world. So optic nerve glaucoma is a disease of that optic nerve. When that gets damaged, and the mechanism with which the optic nerve is damaged is because of raise in intraocular pressure. Inside the eye, the eyeball, it has to maintain that globe structure. It is maintained because of a pressure inside. There is a fluid which is formed by a structure behind the color part of the eye. So that is called aqueous humor. So this fluid is continuously produced, and then it travels all the way by nourishing the internal structures of the eye.
Is there something I could have done, to put myself in danger of getting glaucoma? Is there something from my past that could have put, me in that kind of danger?
Making you susceptible for glaucoma?
Yes.
Yeah, like if at all you had any history of using some medications like corticosteroids for anything, either in the form of skin ointment to oral medication, or any eye injury, direct or blunt injuries. So these and some systemic diseases, of course, in aged patients who have diabetes, hypertension, and they're using medication for any other reason, all those people are susceptible to get glaucoma.
Makumbi, does this ring a bell? Would you know how yours came about?
Let me first shed some light. The kind of glaucoma I have is open angle glaucoma. There are two types of glaucoma. Mine is open angle glaucoma. This kind of glaucoma is whereby the angle in which the iris and cornea meet is wide as usual, but the drainage channels actually fill up as time goes on, and this increases the pressure, that IOP. It increases, and in the long run, it damages your optic nerves. Yes, actually, maybe just your question?
Do you know how you came to be in this situation?
Actually, I've tried to ask some of my family members. They've done checkups, but surprisingly, no one has glaucoma. These doctors say it can be inherited. As I say, it comes with age, but I was still 12 years, and no one in my family has glaucoma. So I don't know how it came about.
Any eye injuries at a certain point in your life?
Not really. I was careful.
How do we explain that then, Dr. Ude?
So there are different types of glaucoma considering the age groups. We have congenital glaucoma between birth to 10 years of age, and then 11 to 35 years of age is juvenile glaucoma, and most of the glaucomas are after the age 40 and 50s. So though they are, that's the age group which is more prone to get glaucoma. And as I said, there are also congenital glaucomas and juvenile glaucomas which can happen, and that's what has been the case in Brian.
Okay. Is it very common?
Well, it's not like the prevalence varies between various places, and however aged, all those people who are aged above 40, that glaucoma is more common than juvenile and congenital.
Okay. What happens, so when Makumbi comes to you at age, what age did you go there?
I was
to the hospital?
I was 15.
Okay, so at 15, if somebody comes and says, these are my symptoms, what's the process?
So as Brian was explaining about open angle glaucoma, glaucoma has got two types. One is the open angle glaucoma, and the other one is angle closure glaucoma. So it is divided into open or angle closure by doing a specific test called gonioscopy. Gonioscopy is a test which we do to examine the angle structures of the eye. Means how crowded the eye is, the internal structures of the eye is. So how crowded or how wide open the internal structures are. So that is what we do, and then classify as open or angle closure. So if it is open angle glaucoma, then immediately, depending on the pressure, whatever is the pressure, intraocular pressure range, we will immediately start with either oral or just the eye drops, topical medication. If it is angle closure glaucoma, then the first line of management would be doing a laser, which is called laser peripheral iridotomy.
Okay. All right, so we're going to look at some of the treatment options that Makumbi has when we return after this break.
We offer professional barber, hairdressing at Lugogo Mall, Garden City, Forest Mall, Oasis Mall, and Acacia Mall. Sparkle Salon, professional, affordable, and quality services.
Welcome back. We're coming to you from the Kampala Serena Conference Center, Nile Room, and tonight we're talking about glaucoma, and with us in the studio is Brian Makumbi, who is suffering from glaucoma, and he came to share his story. And we have Dr. Uday Kumar, who is an optometrist, where they look at everything to do with the eye except the surgery that might be related. So we have some questions from the studio audience. Yes?
Thank you so much. My question is, what are some of the signs and symptoms for one to know that I'm suffering from this disease? Or if you already have it, what are some of the preventive measures that are there for us to get rid of this?
Okay, so signs and symptoms?
Yeah, so unfortunately glaucoma has got no signs, no symptoms. So in most of the cases there are no symptoms, and that's the reason glaucoma is also called as a sneak thief of sight. Okay, so one will get to know that they have glaucoma, or suspects that he has glaucoma, only when he has reached an advanced stage where his visual fields is completely gone. Or in rarely there are some people who are lucky enough who can notice the foggy vision and the colored halos, which Brian he had noted for the first time. So when the intraocular pressure rises, so that will disturb the clear cornea. The black portion of the eye is called cornea, which has to be clear always. So when there is a mechanical pressure which is pushing the cornea from inside, it makes that clear cornea to turn hazy, and that makes you to see colored halos, or the rainbow colors around lights. So that will be, and along with associated with foggy vision, and that will be an intermittent attack. So these are some of the things which has to alarm you, and you, without wasting time, you have to rush to an eye care specialist.
So that was signs and symptoms, but he also asked about prevention. But how do you prevent something that comes like a thief?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to maintain your friendship with the ophthalmologist and or your eye care
the
personnel.
doctors.
So what I would suggest is I recommend once in an year an annual comprehensive eye examination, and because most of the times what happens is how many of you all in this room have gotten a complete eye examination done in the last 1 year, or when was it last time you have done?
Nobody.
I was like
Oh, okay,
that.
there's one person.
And most of the eye examination will be only for glasses. After that, okay, I don't have time. I'll
But
let
when
me
I
buy.
go to have my eyes checked, because maybe the lights and everything, can the eye care personnel, whoever, actually tell that there's a problem here?
Yes. So definitely, like when you come for an eye examination, I'm going to take a history. In that, I'm going to ask about all these symptoms. Have you ever noticed these changes? So depending on that, our comprehensive, we will do comprehensive examination. So in that, there are some early changes that will help the examiner to think of glaucoma and to do further examination.
Okay. Right. Brian, you need to say something?
Actually, I wanted to say, actually, to appeal to anyone who is here and who is seeing us, that you need to have eye checkups at least every 6 months. Because as Dr. Wunda said, you can't see it coming. You can't feel pain. You can't feel an itching. But remember, when your IOP is high, your optic nerves are being damaged. Yes.
Do you feel any pain?
No.
Nothing?
Even no itching. But the problem is on the side. On the side.
Okay. All right. The second question.
Yes, Macho Braji. Apart from poor hygiene and sharing of like sanitary towels, is it true that it can be transmitted by sexual intercourse by certain bacteria?
No, it doesn't.
Where did you get that one from?
I was searching about the internet last week, and there were some on Google. They were saying that there is a bacterium called chlamydia that can be sexually transmit that disease.
And cause glaucoma?
Yes.
What
so
was
I
the
was not
spelling
certain
like?
about it. That's why I wanted to ask and get clarification.
No, glaucoma is not at all relevant with ocular hygiene, or it is not contaminated or not contagious. So nothing to.
So we need
It's,
to
it's
to deal
totally
with
independent.
Maybe he
entity.
misspelled it. The right spelling is GLAUCOMA. That's the right
All right.
spelling.
Is there a cure? So looking at Makumbi now,
Yeah.
maybe before we even get to that, Makumbi, what was the last things the doctors said before today?
Actually, the usual thing is I have to use anti-glaucoma medications like eye drops. For instance, apparently I'm using Azopt eye drop. But they told me it is, when you get that damage, it is irreversible. I know it. It is irreversible. But there's one thing which I remember, a certain doctor at Mengo Hospital. She said, yes, you're going to use these eye drops, these anti-glaucoma eye drops, but you will get blind in 4 years. It was
She said you'll get blind in 4 years.
by then it was 2014. I was scared. I was scared. The reason as to why she said that, I'm growing up. Degeneration itself, however much I'm using these eye drops, it will take away my sight. So right now, I'm fighting tooth and nail to use these eye drops just to keep the pressure on check. But the issue is on degeneration itself. Because there's no remedy for degeneration, because I'm growing up. Yes.
So one eye, you say already you can't see anything.
Apart from light progression.
Okay.
Yeah.
But with the other eye, you can still see something.
I can still see something, and that's where I have my hopes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Ude, I cut you short before you explained.
So this is about the cure. So as Brian was explaining, there is no like once whatever the damage has been occurred, we cannot reverse the damage. So all we can do is once we detect the presence of glaucoma, we can arrest the progression by using medication, by controlling the intraocular pressure, by making sure by calling the patient for frequent follow-ups, and evaluating the function of the optic nerve on timely basis, we can arrest the progression.
But Brian is on medication and it's not arresting the progression.
Yes, the thing is, I just I've seen Brian only in the previous visit.
Yeah.
So it requires multiple visits, and the stage at which I have seen him for the first time, and most importantly for glaucoma patients, either from the physician side or from the family side or family and friends, the most important thing is the moral support and being positive with them.
What does moral support look like for?
Like giving them a confidence, giving them a positive confidence that okay, we are doing our best to stop the progression of disease.
Okay. What's been the hardest thing for you, Brian? The hardest thing in terms of at some point in your life you can see just about anything, but now your vision is limited.
One, nowadays I no longer move on the streets. You know, I remember I stopped moving on the streets in last year. Reason being, sometimes you might be moving on the street and someone knocks you. What next? He abuses you. You try to explain. Some don't give a damn. Others tend to listen and feel sorry. And I fear to cross the road because I can't see like any objects from this side or the other side. I just see only like on this other path here. Then the other paining thing is I have a 3-year-old boy. He has started writing. Like when I go back home in the evening from work, he brings his book and says, "Daddy, see, I wrote number 2. I'm like, "Oh, thank you. This is very good, but trust me, I can't see anything." So I feel that pain. I can't see what my kid really, or actually what he has wrote, but I have to give him the confidence. He doesn't know that I have this problem. For him, he just brings the book. I tell him that, you know, this is very good. Keep it up. It really pains me. It really pains me. And the other thing, I can't hustle like other people. I have a family to feed. You have to pay for electricity, utilities, and other things. You know, you can't hustle like some other people who are normal. You get. So it's a bit challenging. It's a bit challenging.
How are you able to do your job, your everyday job?
First, I have to thank my bosses. My bosses have been very kind to me, and even my fellow workers. Sometimes they help me out, like like when using a computer. When I find difficulties, they come up very quickly and help me. I no longer go to the field because I'm a business executive. I have to be in the field, but I no longer go to the field. Reason being, I can't move by my own. So they help me out, and also my bosses. I thank them very much. May the Lord God bless them. So at home, I have a partner who normally helps me out, like washing dishes, cooking, and I thank her. She's been very kind to me and caring. She's been very special. Yes, please.
I'm wondering about now, when Brian, you speak about now you're mostly on the computer. Doesn't that also, because I know just using a computer on a daily has an effect on our eyes, doesn't that not make the situation worse?
No, I don't spend a lot of time on a computer. Just in most cases, when I get an advert, that's when I use it.
Okay.
But in most cases, I make phone calls. But for some other things which might take like a longer time on a computer, really my colleagues come up and they help me out.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Dr. Udeun was speaking earlier. You mentioned how sometimes patients come to the clinics for eye checks and you see something and you call back and say, you need to come back in. People don't really like coming back.
They
do
don't. Because the thing is, as long as they see something, and with glasses, if they are seeing everything, that's what they think the vision is all about. They don't care until they start facing some problem. And unfortunately, glaucoma is a condition where the peripheral vision starts affecting first, and the central vision is the last one to get affected. So it is by then
So you
major
feel
damage is already done.
when you have the glasses and you can see even a bit, you're thinking, that's fine. And then you ignore the underlying.
First of all, most of them don't have the time to go for a comprehensive eye examination. Even if they come, there are not many places who provide comprehensive eye examination. And even if they come, they just worried about their vision, what they are seeing. That's it. Okay, just give me a pair of glasses, and if the eye specialist explains them about the dilated evaluation, which will take another 1 hour, they say, no, next time I'll come, I don't have time, I need to rush.
Right. Well, someone just spoke in my ear and said, I think they're worried about the cost of an eye examination. And they're saying maybe that's the reason why a lot of people don't come back. How much is an eye examination?
It's 30,000.
That's
like
a comprehensive,
it's a comprehensive eye examination. That's what we charge at the Makerere University Hospital.
Okay. And then the kinds of treatment, because I just want someone to understand the comparison with, you'd rather be willing to pay the 30,000 and get a comprehensive check than begin now to deal at a later stage with the treatment of a serious condition like glaucoma. How expensive has it been, Brian, these treatments?
These treatments, as it progresses, because before, in 2005, Timor is a bit cheaper, because I used to buy it at 5K. But now I'm on Azopt.
That's 5,000 shillings.
Yes.
Okay.
But right now I'm on Azopt. It is around 100,000.
100,000
yes,
shillings.
You have to use it like monthly. Because the last years I used to use Timrol, then added on Pirocarpine. By then I could foot all the bills because my sight was still very fine. It was still a bit fine. But right now, you have to look for that 100 for the Azopt eye drop. Then there is Combatant. Is it Combatant?
Combigan.
Yeah, Combigan. Also, it is around 80,000. You have to use both of them. Every month you have to save around 180 just to keep your pressure on check. Without it's a bit expensive. It's a bit expensive.
How much is, I know you're supposed to be going for surgery.
Yep.
How much is that surgery?
That surgery itself, it is 6,500 euros. That's around 28 million. But those clinics in Germany do not have accommodation for patients. They just refer to the nearby hotels around. And those hotels are also expensive. Remember, you have to book also for a ticket. You can't go alone because your sight is not okay.
Yeah.
You have to go with a caretaker. You have to pay for him or her a ticket and accommodation. Roughly, it is around 50 million.
About 50 million shillings.
Yeah.
All right, let's take another short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. We're coming to you from the Kampala Serena Conference Center Nile Room, and tonight we're talking about glaucoma. Brian, you just painted a picture of 50 million shillings is what you need to actually have this surgery. Do we know, is there information on what this surgery can do? Is it going to give you back your sight? Is it going to, what what's the picture looking like after surgery?
Okay, fine. This treatment is not a surgery because it is a non-invasive treatment.
Okay.
It's not a surgery. Actually, when the other doctor told me that I was going to go blind in 4 years, actually, I started contacting different physicians in India, China, and mostly German. And one of the physicians told me that I should do alternating current stimulation therapy, and it is in German. The purpose for this treatment, one, is to improve my visual field to up to 2 times. Then, secondly, it's to stop further loss of vision. But I still have to use these anti-glaucoma eye drops. I have to still keep my pressure on check. However much that therapy will help me stop further degeneration. Then the other thing, to reduce the foggy vision. Yes, please.
So you still get foggy vision
yes,
in the
at
right
least
eye?
I need to be around. You know, I'm very much optimistic that in between 6 to 10 years, I think there will be actually scientists are working, the Dr. Undes of this world are working tooth and nail to see that we get a cure. You know, so many foundations have funded many clinical trials, like recently the Glaucoma Research Foundation has funded the stem cell treatment, which I think will yield some good results, but not now. Up to around 6 to 10 years around there. That's what I think.
Many clinical trials which are underway, but still nothing is yet within the vicinity of doing for the patients.
Okay. Oh,
Yes.
Brian, you wear glasses.
Yeah.
Are they in any way helpful?
Just when I'm using a computer.
So for the light, really?
Yeah, for the light, just for the light. It has nothing much.
Okay.
Yeah,
So they don't in any way help with your vision outside?
Not really. Maybe
okay.
the light outside.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Someone asked you, Dr. Ude, about organizations. Someone from the audience asked during the break about organizations that give support or help to people like Brian for these kinds of treatment that cost quite a lot, that an ordinary person really wouldn't be able to afford it. Do we have things like that?
For normal treatments and all, like for special treatments and all, there is no organization as such.
I know there are
which can-
medical camps every so often.
Yeah.
Would this be something that
Medical
would look
camps
into?
also will, there is no pharmaceutical company or there is no support for even if I have to donate some eye drops. So there is nobody who gives the eye drops samples at least. So even if I have samples, I can give them to my patients. I can help Brian by giving the samples. But the thing is here, I find it really difficult to even get the samples of those anti-glaucoma medications.
how do I even ask it? How have you found, because when we were starting the show, we asked some of the people in the audience what glaucoma was. And the answers and then the explanation that you later gave, Brian, I see you shaking your head, had things to do with teary eyes and itchy eyes, and you say that's in no way related to glaucoma. So that means we're not going out of our way to give this information out as much as we should.
Now, let me say this. Apparently, most of the Ugandans do not know about glaucoma.
And you did some research.
Yes, I did a simple survey. I took a board as usual. I went to Mutasaka Fellow Plaza. I stood by the roadside. I talked to 10 people who managed to give me their ear. I talked to them, and out of 10, I just got a 0. No one knew about glaucoma.
What did they know?
They're like, what is that? What is glaucoma? You know, such questions. What is it all about? Is it a new concept? Is it? So they start asking funny questions, but they don't know that you never know. they might be in for it the next coming 20 years. Then I took the next day, I went just nearby here, a Garden City. I did the same. I just got only 2 people, and one of them just said, yes, I heard that my grandmother has pressure of the eyes, just that. The other one said, yes, I know it is a disease for the eyes, only that. They don't know about glaucoma. So my humble appeal to the government, Ministry of Health, and NGOs which are related to this, really they need to do a lot. They need to do a lot. People do not know about glaucoma. Yes, I can't really understand why the government hasn't really put a lot on this disease, because it is the 2nd cause of blindness in the world. And when you're blind, you know, you can't hustle like any other person.
Are there associations, are there groups? Maybe it would help us understand if this is really a problem that would gain priority.
Yes, actually this week from March 10th to 16th is called World Glaucoma Week, which is actually celebrated. It has been, this is a kind of advocacy program which has been going for the last 10 years. Yeah. It's a collaborative effort of World Glaucoma Association as well as World Glaucoma Patient Association. So,
but do these, so would, if Brian reached out, is there some kind of support, not maybe financially, but I mean in terms of, okay, financially, yes, but also in terms of how do you go about your life with this kind of transition?
Yes, like definitely that support he will get, as well as like when he comes to me with this kind of vision, what I'm going to do is, with whatever vision he has got, the functional vision, I'm going to show him with various devices that will help him navigate and be independent. Okay. So make his functional vision active. Okay. And if at all, I get some patients who are completely blind, blind in both eyes. So for them, I give rehabilitation, like I give them orientation and mobility training.
So they can learn how to walk.
They can learn how to walk, and also there are trainings for the person who assists the blind person. Okay. So there's the techniques, the way how the patient should hold the person who is guiding. So all these things we train in all these rehabilitation, orientation, mobility, everything.
All right. Well, Brian is hopeful. He's hopeful with this surgery. Is there a time frame? So a time for which you must have. Not the surgery, sorry, I keep saying surgery. So is there a time frame to having this treatment?
Yeah, I've been in touch with this hospital. It's called Fedorov Restore Vision Clinic. I've been in touch with their physicians, mostly Dr. Fedorov Anthony, and I pray that I get the funds within the next 3 months.
Within the next 3 months?
At least. Okay. Before it is also too late also, you know. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a way that prevention, so for prevention's sake, so people then begin to get worried and say, if I found those eye drops that he's using and I started using them before this happened, is there any such thing?
No. No, the only way we can prevent this advanced stage of glaucoma is by having a regular, at least an annual comprehensive eye examination. And you know, while we had in our discussion, we were saying that the awareness is a problem, lack of awareness. I always debate on this. Like when we have, okay, we say that awareness is a problem in most of the nations. Okay, now we create awareness and the patient comes to me. What if I don't know what are the tests I'm supposed to do?
That's the
so there are, well, I strongly suggest government and also the hospitals to promote some special fellowships for the existing ophthalmologists to go to the world-class hospitals around the world, and then encourage a short-term fellowship or a long-term fellowship in glaucoma, specifically for glaucoma, wherein they learn surgeries, they learn how to manage, and then they come back and serve the country.
Well, also just for the, every so often that I get an eye examination, it really is not as comprehensive as you were saying, because what they'll do is really just to tell me, can you see A to Z, and can you look at the numbers there, and that's it. Then they'll tell me either you need glasses because of this. So nobody is really, I don't know if the aim is to just get us all glasses or to just check for that, but I think that we need to look deeper into what we are checking for.
In order to diagnose glaucoma, one should check the intraocular pressure, and then should assess do the gonioscopy to assess the angle if it is open or closed, and to examine the optic nerve, and to examine to evaluate the function of the optic nerve by doing perimetry, which is called the visual field analyzing test.
Okay. What would you like to say finally as we close, Dr. Ude?
Sorry?
What would you like to say as we close, finally, to whoever is watching?
Okay, so an every year comprehensive eye examination, irrespective of your age, is a must. And wherever you go, you ask the ophthalmologist or the optometrist, ask them to do a comprehensive eye examination, and ask for what is the intraocular pressure, do I have any signs of glaucoma.
Okay. Brian?
Okay, my humble appeal, one, is to the government and NGOs. They need to do something about glaucoma. I remember the only paper actually which ran that story about glaucoma, it was the Daily Monitor on the 11th. But we've had a whole week, I haven't seen NTV do any promotion on glaucoma or any NGO. We have some NGOs here. We have the Ministry of Health, but they haven't done enough. And another thing is to ask all Ugandans to at least do checkups, like 2 times in a year. Thirdly, actually, I need your prayers, because prayers move mountains. At least I need to see my young boy grow. Yes, please. And the other thing is I'm praying that I can get hope from any well-wishers who is willing to give a helping hand. Yes, and maybe is it okay if I can say out my mobile numbers?
Sure, go ahead.
MTN is 0788 432 911. 0788 432 911. Airtel 0703 720 750. Again, 0703 720 750. Yep.
All right. I certainly hope, I really hope, Brian, that you're able to get to the target you want to get to. You're looking for 50 million shillings, and that would include your flights, accommodation, a caregiver, and also the treatment.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Josephine.
And we'll continue to pray for you. Thank you so much, Dr. Ude, for coming to speak with us and to share insights on glaucoma.
Thanks for the opportunity, Josephine.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of our show for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Coming up is NTV Weekend Edition with Sandra Twino with you.
Renew your monthly basic bouquet subscription of 18,000 shillings before it expires. Then enjoy 3 free days only on StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.